All right, so let's dive into today. Let's talk about today. What have we seen? Let's go over everything. I am starting my week 0 for 1, and while I am 0 for 1, I'm not really that disappointed because I'm very happy on basically where I'm at or why I took that trade. Now we're going to talk about that whole entire trade so far and go back over it. But the start of this week is a little bit slower. Now last week we saw chaos. We saw stocks ripping $75 on BPTH. We saw this thing going wild. We had a couple, TROV, giant gap up. We saw, a lot of big time plays. And there's a lot of excitement going into this week. What have we seen so far kicking off this week? We haven't really seen anything too big, right? We had a very big list of stocks to be watching this morning in pre-market on our Dekmar Trades morning newsletter. We have previous top gainers. We have low float gap ups to watch. We had some hot news. But let's check this out. If this is right here today, what are some of the plays that we want to look at? First thing that we wanted to look at were these shippers. Right, these shippers, they were the ones that had beautiful gap ups this morning. Big time gap up on GLBS, and GLBS was actually the stock I just lost on. So GLBS, coming back on down. Well, let's look at some previous top gainers. BPTH, this is probably the overall best play so far today, as BPTH is still setting itself up for a possible squeeze. Right now, BPTH is the best bet for the next leg on up. It is a stock that went on a morning spike. It's a stock that came back on down, but it's still holding inside of a channel. We're going to be going over that shortly, but what else is there going on? Well, let's again working down my list of previous top gainers. SEEL, anything today? No. TROV, anything we want today? No. TNXP, anything we want right now? No. Again, we were maybe looking for that break of the VWAP, but it's still just fading. RKDA, anything we want right now? Again, no volume, no. DFFN, low floats that gapped up this morning, anything? No. SFET, anything right here? No. TNXP already went over. TENX, anything right here? No. GBR, anything right here? No. UUU, anything right here? No. RBZ, anything right here? No. Right? Even our news right here. APOP, not really, even worth our time. No action. AXGT, quick morning rip, but came right back on down. LIFE, nothing. LQDA, nada. OHRP, see you later. SALT. Now, and these are all the stocks with good news. Like these are all pretty solid press releases, and they just aren't bringing in as much hype as we saw last week. So as you can see, going through about 25 different plays right here, we aren't really seeing anything go on a giant rip or giant run today, which is a little bit surprising because the past 2 weeks we have been seeing ginormous rips and ginormous runs and ginormous activity in the market. But I think what's happening right now is what? We just saw last week, the craziest week we've probably seen in about 5 to 6 months. Then what happened right now to kick off the day or kick off the week, people don't really know where to go. We had so many low float stocks up on the pre-market scanners this morning that, as I said, 10 people were in stock 1, 10 people were in stock 2, 20 people were in stock 3, right? 30 people were in stock 4, 20 people were in stock 5. It was so dispersed, right? And nothing really got the main boom. Nothing really got that main rip, that main spike, right? So right when we opened up on the day, let's kind of take it back. The bell opened. The bell opened. What did we see spike? Well, the first stock that really started getting some volume right at the start was, again, TNXP, right? TNXP tried to get a little bit of action from 390 up to 412, and then it just dropped on down. And then what were people looking at? People were seeing, TENX, that dropped on down. And RKDA, does that have any? No, that's not getting any sort of volume. SFET, is that getting? No, nothing over there. So what happens now? We wake up, we have all these low float stocks, and we have all these stocks looking for these big time rips and big time runs. Nothing's ripping. All the hot stocks today, nothing's ripping. What do we do then as traders? We say to ourselves, what was the previous spiker? What was the previous top gainer? And then everyone always goes back to that. If you wake up, guys, and you see a lot of big time rips and big time runs and pre-market and all those, and a lot of gap ups, that's great. Write those down. Those are currently the plays. But if those stocks fail, if those stocks slow down, if those stocks, don't bring in that hype during the start of the day, guess what? People are going to go back to the previous top gainer where they know is hot, where they know they can make money, and where they've seen a lot of traders make big money. So a lot of people go over to BPTH. And that's why BPTH this morning had the best rip and best run. It had a nice red to green move. It went from $23 all the way up towards around $32, right? And you'd be like, well, Dek, why did people go there? We had low floats on TXP and all these other low floats that you just talked about. If we don't see any spikes, everyone just goes back. The best analogy I can give to this is imagine, you have, one restaurant that's your favorite restaurant, and you go there all the time. That's, a good restaurant. You like the food there. It's your go-to place. But let's say a brand new restaurant opens up. What are you probably going to do? You're probably going to go test it out. You're going to try it. But guess what? If you sit down and you're like, hey, this food kind of stinks. Yeah, this is back. Hey, you just want to go back to, McGillen's, our hometown place that we absolutely love? Yeah, let's just go back there. So what is, BPTH? BPTH is basically your McGillen's, right? It's like, hey, I'm sitting right here and I know this place. I love this place. It's where I've made a lot of money. It's where I like this food. Hey, let's try out TNXP today. Let's try out that new restaurant. You go over to TNXP, you're like, hey, this food kind of stinks. You just want to go back over to BPTH? Yeah, let's just go back over to BPTH. And that's where everyone just goes back to this play because they know it's good. They know they can make money here. They know that this stock is a runner. They know the stock is a ripper. They know this thing can bring in big time volume. So everyone went back to BPTH, which basically killed off all the penny stocks. Now BPTH started fading back on down probably about 30 minutes later. And that is where we started seeing maybe a little bit of activity coming back to the penny stock world, but we really didn't see much, right? We really didn't see much. So, Dek, what were you looking for today? What was the reason you took a $200 loss today? Why did you take a $200 loss today? Well, there's a couple of reasons why I lost. And there's a couple of things that I'm upset about, but there's a lot of things I'm actually proud about as well. Now, what I was looking for was GLBS. And I know GLBS is a shipper. And when I say a shipper stock, guys, I am talking about a legitimate shipper play. This is a company that's a shipper. And I know if you guys are new, you're like, what's a shipper? A shipper is basically, these companies have these big vessels, these big boats with these big like crates on them that are moving supplies or whatever, whatever company hires them. And you guys have probably seen these before, on like movies. Let me just type in, shipping vessels. So it's basically, like these bad boys, right? And with all these big time crates going through and they're shipping, whatever they're carrying, from one country to another. And that's what these are. Now, if you guys are ever involved in the penny stock world before, you guys know these shippers such as GLBS could be wild runners, right? These plays have gone on massive rips, from $2 all the way up to, I've seen $100, right? We have seen massive climbs and massive runs. Now, they're also known to be fake out breakout plays. And I know how risky they are, right? I know how risky they are. And when GLBS opened up this morning, I said, hell no, I'm not buying GLBS. You gotta be out of your mind, right? I'm not playing a stock that's gapping up for no reason. And you guys can even see what I put right here. Stocks to watch, shipper gap up scan. All these plays are gapping up. Shippers are moving. Let me make this a little bit bigger. We have shippers are moving just because they have earnings this week. Traders love to pump these shipper plays and go crazy. And especially in this low flow market that we're seeing, traders are just buying these early, hoping for a good ER. Once the ER does come out, which stands for earnings report, I am sure they will crash back on down as the news is not going to be worth, these dollar spike gap ups that it's having. But this is buy the hype, sell the news. So I'm saying to myself this morning, no way I'm buying GLBS at the bell. That thing is so risky. There's no reason why it should be up this high. There's no reason why it should, be, climbing like this. So if anything, let me wait for a strong pullback. I've seen GLBS spike hard. I've seen it rip, but I'm not going to be buying at the bell. If anything, I'll buy at the bottom, right? If anything, I'll buy at a much lower area. So what did I look for? If I look at GLBS right here, I know it opened up right here, and I'm looking for basically a U-shaped pattern. I'm looking for a setup of breaking of resistance of the VWAP and for this stock to go on a beautiful climb and a beautiful run. Now, I did this twice last week. And if you guys have been watching our recaps, you guys will be able to see this. I did this twice last week, and it both led to $100 gains. So this is where we're at. My latest one was on Friday. And on Friday, you could see TRV opened up right around 890, fell on down. The VWAP is this black line. You can see we fall. We go sideways, we break the VWAP on a U-shaped pattern, and the stock actually ran all the way up to highs, all the way up towards around 970. Right? It was a beautiful rip and a beautiful climb. Let me actually switch to a 2-minute time frame right here just so we can see it a little bit better. And that's what I was looking for. The fall, move sideways, Break of the VWAP was my entry on Friday, and I was able to make a few $100s on TROV. It was a beautiful play. It was awesome. So, that was what I was really enjoying, and that's what I really liked. So with that being said today, what was I looking at GLBS? I was looking for the same sort of setup. I was looking for the fall right here. So again, I was looking for the fall right here. I was looking for the sideways move right here. And then where was my entry? My entry on this play was right here. And again, I hate how trade ideas, if sometimes you leave it on too long, it changes the VWAP. You can see right here. That's what I want volume to come in. But what happened? It came on up, hit the VWAP, and got rejected. So that is where I ended up taking a loss. Now, as I was saying, guys, I am not upset at all with this trade. I took a $200 loss. Is that really that big? No, that's not that big. Again, I stayed very small, only 1,000 shares. That's very tight. And the moment it started coming back on down, I got out. And I even had a pretty bad entry on my play as well. I was in at 712. So I had a pretty bad entry on my play. But GLBS, I didn't buy the stock at the top. I didn't just randomly buy it because, volume was moving on in. I didn't, hop in on this play because I was bored. I wasn't emotional towards this play at all. I said, hey, I don't have the funds right now to play BPTH on this morning spike. I'm getting ready for a small account challenge, which is starting up, as you guys know, on Monday, March 25th. So that's starting up, Monday, March 25th. I'm getting ready for the small account challenge. I'm getting used to, a small account again. And I said to myself, hey, if a GLBS, breaks through that $7 mark, guess what? I'll look for 1,000 shares. I'm not putting 10,000 shares on this right now. What are my main concerns? My main concerns is A, GLBS is a shipper. B, we are light on volume. We had a ton of volume last week, but right now, people are a little concerned. People are saying, hey, I don't know where, what stock to play. I don't know which stock is getting the best rip, getting the best run. I'm not sure which one to go to. So I was waiting for a nice setup. I was waiting for a nice, clear cut. Hey, break of $7, we could easily see volume. But I need to have a tight stop loss. And again, I even let it go maybe a little bit longer than I should. I should keep it around probably 12 to 15 cents. I let it go 20 cents. So I should, again, keep it even a little bit tighter than I should. 15 cents, 12 cents would only be a $120 loss. So again, my reasoning, break of the VWAP, break of $7 for the break of the VWAP, big time U-shape pattern, same exact setup as TROV right here for what I played the last 2 days for nice big rips and nice big runs. I'm not disappointed that I lost on this play. I'm actually more, kind of giving myself a pat on the back that, hey, I stayed very disciplined. I didn't chase, didn't get emotional. I cut my loss. I gave it a go, stayed small on my play, wanted to, again, go after a trade, but at the same time, it didn't work out. Not every trade is going to work out. Am I happy on the fact that I lost? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. No one ever likes taking a loss, but you can always take a positive away from a negative. GLBS just didn't get the volume. Simple as that. So, that is kind of where we're at today. And that's kind of, where we're seeing is just the lack of volume that we are currently experiencing, which is not getting a lot of big time hype and a lot of big time ripping. So it seems like today is going to be a little bit more towards a lesson day. It seems like today is going to be more, diving into lessons or blogs or recaps or any of that stuff to be able to really go after these plays. But yeah, right now we're not seeing out of the penny stock world anything really exploding up in a strong manner. YTRA moving a little sideways right here. The only concern would be it just hit its 200-day moving average, and it has to stay above that 200-day moving average. TNXP right now, guys, starting to dump. TNXP also was looking for that same setup. Just not enough volume right now. So that's starting to dump on down. So GLBS, the #1 top gainer, starting to fade on down. YTRA, nice pop right here, got halted. What is there any sort of news behind this? Let's see. See right here, any sort of news? YTRA, March 11th, acquires the largest company. So that's cool. That's good. Nice rip, nice spike. But again, 200-day moving average, tough to buy right now. APOP, trying to be slow and steady. Icon, again, a little bit of slow and steady. JRJC, again, kind of just moving sideways. So you can see most of our ripping and running, even on, Icon was this morning. Even on APOP, that's not really doing too much right now. YTRA was, again, more this morning. Everything has kind of been dead the last hour. Right here, AGRX more this morning, kind of moving sideways now. So buying right now is a little bit scary. Buying right now is a little bit risky. And I just don't want to get, involved with anything. I would still say, we want to keep our eyes on BPTH, but I am excited for BPTH to hopefully die off now. I don't want BPTH running back up towards $50, $75. And now, if you're in on BPTH, yeah, okay, I want it to run that because I want you guys to win. But I'm more excited for that to kind of die off now. People to kind of be like, all right, that's over. Let's find the next one. Let's find the next rip. Let's find the next climb. Let's find the next spike. So that's where we're at. But I want everyone to understand why I took my trade today. But I also want you guys to understand more, why I lost today. And if you guys didn't trade, well, again, that's fine and that's great. And you guys can take my loss as a lesson and be like, all right, if you guys saying what's the number one reason I lost today, the number one reason I lost today was probably just the spread out volume and the lack of it, right? That's why I lost today. The lack of it, the lack of volume. We didn't see the push. So, simple as that. Pretty easy to see, pretty, understandable right there. And, that's just, where I'm currently at with my trade. But good job. It's Money Monday, a little bit slow today. Excited to see what's going to be coming up the rest of the week. Took one loss, and now we're going to be diving into hopefully maybe a trade this afternoon, or going to be waiting until things pick on up a little bit. But one slow day, nothing to really be concerned about. Very excited to see what's going to be coming up in the future.